Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's the 9th of July 2024 and the time is 4:48 p.m. I've been to my hairdresser and I look all glamorous for one more day and evening till I go to bed tonight and wake up with my usual dishevelment, and it is what it is. But I must say I enjoy when I come fresh from the hairdresser, feeling all glamorous and spruced up and happy. So I've had a lovely day with her. She's a lovely woman and we always have a wonderful chats, and it's always a lovely time of it. So anyway, I continue on with today's readings of even date, the 9th of July 2023, which is titled, it's 2024, but it's still stuck at 2023 on Vocal Media, sorry. That's what I meant by that. I can't update the dates on the title page, which is very, very annoying. But anyway, we all know, I will correct myself, the year is 2024. Haven't got dementia yet, people. Anyway, I've got black eyes because I get my eyelashes done when I go in as well. So I'm all spruced up, babies. Anyway, today's title is In a Spiritual World, Be Real. In a Physical World, Be Metaphysical. Pardon me. Maintain the 0 point in consciousness where all merges into one, and from which we can co-create our dreams into reality. Love. Oh, sorry, Charlie. Here's the face of someone I loved very much and who loved me very much, who is now in the light, Mr. Socks Castle Aarons. Yes, my darling Charlie. Oh, because the photo gets cut off, you couldn't quite see the whole photo, but it was taken on the day he was dying, and he put his paw on my hand and we were holding hands. Paw in my human hand. My beautiful boy, greatly missed. 9th of July 2021, so it's 3 years ago today. 3 years. And then we lost Beauregard on the 1st of August last year, so it's been a long period of grief for me. Sorry, I'm getting messages, I'm just flicking that away. 9th of July 2023, last year. Today is the 2nd anniversary of Sock's passing, the last of my cats to enter the next dimension. A lot has changed in 2 years. The world is slowly waking up from the COVID insanity, but we are still on a roller coaster ride to devolution. So garnering the love energy wherever it manifests and in whatever forms it comes to us is key to staying sane in this topsy-turvy world. Indeed it is. Hold your beloveds precious. They will bring joy and comfort in dark times. There's one we prepared earlier, nibbling on my hand. Celebrate life, l'chaim. Hold true, be you. My friend Sally Castle, who was the original owner of Socks and who supported me a lot to support her little pussycats, is a wonderful friend to me, wrote, 2 years, oh my, Lots of love to you, Tanya. And I wrote back, and to you also, my beautiful Sally. 9th of July 2021. Sally has spoken to the vet. Socks will be euthanised today. He is too end stage with the diabetes to be treated with much hope of success. I will have to gird my loins with strength and let this day wash over me, as all other horribly sad days have. He has been a fine, upstanding man-cat and a comfort to me for many years. I know he is returning to even more love than I was ever capable of giving him. The Ein Sof Or. Pretty words, but the transitioning is the hardest part. I had a call from the RSPCA inspector who apologised to me about the event last night and assured me that should something go wrong with Mount Gravatt Vet's ability to euthanise Socks today, that I could call him personally to arrange a euthanisation. A basic kindness. Thanks for that, after the heinous abuse I received the evening before from one of their little office sadistic Sharons, by the way. I reiterated that it was intensely triggering, disrespectful, and downright sadistic how that conversation turned last night. He said he had seen the job sheet and agreed it should have been handled better. So that is the end of the matter. I am confident that Mount Gravatt Vets will arrange the final appointment with me sometime today. Took their sweet time about it too. Dragged it out till the end of that day, which was also absurd since they said it was an urgent matter. More sadism than you can poke a stick at, by the way. The inspector said he does not understand the histrionic COVID attitudes. All I need is to wear a mask and be with my cat. I concurred. We are living in dangerous zombie apocalyptic times in an actual pandemic, which means the seeping everyday sadism and oozing evil is spreading worse than the COVID. Nothing like a crisis to bring out the cruelties in people. However, it was unacceptable. I will never comprehend humanity's microaggressions in a time of grief or crisis. It's like a frenzied bloodletting. However, I am holding on to love and the few rare, precious, truly good, kind people in my life and out in the world. Update. Sally just called and our Socks will be taken in at 5:15 p.m. to be euthanised. Her daughter will be there with him. I am not allowed due to my current illness, which is deeply distressing as I wanted to be there with him for his passage into the light. I didn't want him to think in his time of need that I'd abandoned him either. So we were very close, that cat and I, very, very bonded and close. But he will be cremated and his ashes returned to me. I will put him under the rose tree, or perhaps his favourite jade tree, where he spent many a happy sunny afternoon each summer. I still haven't scattered his ashes. I was waiting for Sally and her daughter to come and do it with me because he was originally their cat. And with one thing and another, the subject hasn't been broached, and he's still in his beautiful rosewood box that Sally bought for him to be contained in his ashes, and he's still up on my mantelpiece in the spare room where he used to sleep. So I'm kind of okay with that. I don't usually keep ashes of my beloved ones lying around. They usually get scattered almost as soon as I receive them, but he sits up there and he's my boy, and I guess one day when I'm ready I'll scatter him, and or not. Maybe the kids can inherit his ashes one day. That'd be a good gift. Here you are, you bastards. You didn't come and visit your mother, so here's the ashes of my dead cat to go along with mine, and maybe they'll put us together somewhere. That might be a nice fitting touch, actually. Sock's been scattered along with my ashes. Maybe I'll write that into my instructions for when I die. I must get around to doing that. Write a whole death plan of what I want done and where I want to be put, and maybe keep him with me, because as I said, that cat and I were very close, and we used to talk to each other, and there's videos up on Facebook of him talking and me making up stories of what he was actually saying, and sometimes I wasn't too far off either if you read his energy and his body language. But he was a wonderful cat, and didn't deserve the way we were treated at the end. Neither did Beauregard, so there was that, but there was nothing we could have done. They were discriminating based on, they decided that I had COVID when I actually didn't. So vicious beyond belief they were. Funnily, at this time, exact same time, 3 years later, I have a bit of a cold in my schnoz too, so there is that. Verse 18, this is from Talmud, I believe, or it could be from the Zohar, not sure to be honest. Someone who's more erudite in Jewish studies will correct me, no doubt. But verse 18, Rabban Shimon ben Gamaliel, which makes me think it is from the Zohar, said, on three things the world is sustained: on truth, on judgment, and on peace. As it says, Zechariah chapter 8 verse 16, speak the truth to one another, render in your gates judgments that are true, and make for peace. Shalom. Blessed be the Holy One, the true judge. Please keep Socks and all my other beloved pets safe in your eternal holy realm. Not long to go now. We are having lots of cuddles with lots of purring, singing. We are grateful for the love and the devotion. Here I write, Vale, Socks Castle, Arrans, 6th of October 2009 to 9th of July 2021. A fine friend and great spirit who loved me immensely and whom I shall miss greatly. Only the gods could separate us, but we shall be together again someday. Love you, our gorgeous boy. Oh, sorry, Charlie. So, here's some more photos of him holding my hand, and another one of him looking at me from the dining table, which was his favourite place to be. The ones below him looking up into my face, offering me socks kisses. He's a beautiful, beautiful soul. Beautiful, beautiful soul and a beautiful, beautiful cat. All right, come here, come here. Good girl. Oh, I must be the only dumb motherfucker that starts CPAP treatment and ends up with a cold. And it's not good, people there, but it is what it is. I'll have to get some tissues if I continue. My nose continues running like that though. Sally posted, mourning the passing of Socks in Brisbane tonight. Thank you so much to Tanya Aarons for caring for Socks so devotedly for more than 7 years. Bless you, Tanya. And to Rachel L for being there for our fur baby. Rest in peace, Socks. You'll be missed. And, here we are. His other two mummies spending some precious last minute time with him. Actually, no, that wasn't last minute times with him. That was probably months previously when Sally had come over from New Zealand and visited me. And I know that because there's the power show in the photo on the table in front of Rachel L. So there you go. But anyway, they got to see him before his passing, and I'm glad. My friend Jan Attridge, who comes from America, wrote, sending love and hugs, my friend. And I got lots of hugs from other friends. And I wrote, thank you to all my beautiful, brave friends in my time of crisis. I am deeply grateful for your support and love. Kiss. I wrote, it's been hard on all his mummies and Jared too. We all adored Socks. He was a very special, precious cat. But he has transitioned now, and Rachel said it was a quick and peaceful passing, so I am contented and comforted by that. 9th of July 2020. Here's some sweet little collage photos of Socks and me with Bobo, and a lovely painting my daughter did of me years ago, which I still have and cherish. And Penny with her back paw resting on my arm, which she often did when we lay together on my bed. She would always make sure that she would hold on to me with one of her paws. So I've been greatly loved in this world, often not by other humans, certainly not by male lovers historically, not in affectionate, loving ways, which is why I get a little bit carried away when I'm shown authentic love and affection, especially in recent months. What else have I got going on? Am I right? Sometimes I get a little bit too titillated. But you can't blame me when the only affection I used to receive was from my pets, and now they're all gone too. Except for our little Charlie, of course. You still love the mama, don't you, Charlie? Kissy, kissy, kissy. She just, oh, there she goes. She just shared some of my pumpkin soup, so she really enjoyed that. Didn't you, Charlie? The pumpkin soup? Guess what you'll be poopy kitting tomorrow? Bright orange pumpkin soup for the mama. I know, another feather you've pulled out. I'm collecting them here. I could almost stuff a pillow with them, there's that many. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Right, here we go. Here is a photo of my mother's biological father, her real father by her natural, real, bona fide biological father. But she did not know that he was her real father until she was 16 years old when he told her. But by the gods, you can see the resemblance in him. You really can. But here's a photo of him. I don't have many photos of him, but there it is. He was a very, very powerful man. Magically, he was a witch, and a very powerful one, to the point it was actually could be quite frightening, his abilities. My mother told me about his abilities, and you know, it was actually quite astonishing what she had witnessed him being able to do, which was a form of telekinesis, by the way. My biological grandfather, or so he told my mother when she was 16. I'm trying to figure out who my angel protector is. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's something vastly more holy and powerful. Maybe it's all bollocks. Time will tell, I guess. I have never yet found out exactly who my angel is. I wondered if it was an ancestor, so that's why I was going over that there. But a woman that I met in the Irish Murphy's pub one evening said she could see it, and it was actually an angel. She was just as astonished and floored as I was. She could actually see him. I've never seen him. Just felt his presence behind me, protecting me. But it was an amazing encounter with that woman. Actually, at first I thought, oh, she's just some old drunk in the night, like, you know, on drugs or just, you know, just mad. But no, she said to me, if you doubt me, she said, any time that you're in real danger, that you perceive that you're in real danger, she said, you call upon him. She said, his wings are 12 feet wide wingspan, she said, and you will feel the wind of his wings opening up. And I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, lunatic. I shouldn't doubt people, should I, given what I know about the spirit world. But when you meet people in pubs, randoms in pubs, you tend to think they're a bit bonkers, you know. You tend to always err on the side of, are they a bit mad, you know. I'm sure lots of people think I'm mad too, underestimate me. But I'm okay with that. If you haven't walked in the shamanic pathways and you haven't dealt with the spirit world and you're a mainstreamer and a material rationalist, it does all seem rather mad. But you have your walk and I have mine. So anyway, it came to pass not long after my encounter with that woman who could see my enormous angel standing behind me. And I did need to call on assistance, actually, so I did. And yes, true as she described, there was a great whoosh behind me. I could actually feel the pressure of like a sudden wind updraft behind me in a closed room and enclosed space. Shh. And that energy, angel, demon, I don't know who it really is. She saw an angel, but these beings can appear as anything they like if they're of a high enough vibration. But anyway, I like to think it's an angel because they've never caused me any harm and they've only ever been protective of me. I could feel the whoosh of the wind, and then I could feel them literally leaning in, pressing up against my back and enfolding me in like a kind of a protective embrace. So then I knew that lady, that woman that had seen him, was not making it up, because although I still could not see him, I felt the energy, the powerful protective energy, and There were a few people in the pub that night, especially a Māori security guard. Māori people are very intuitive, often very spiritual. Not all, just like anyone. Some are more gifted than others, but that man had gifts. And he came up to me, knowing full well, he came up to me, he said, "What did you just do, Tanya?" Oh, I said, "I did nothing," which was technically true. I did nothing. He said, "No, I saw it. What did you just do?" I said, "It wasn't me, but let me put it delicately. I called upon assistance, so this house is clean now. It's all got tidied up." And he nodded, went a bit white in the face. Instead, I said, "Go back to your position. All is well now." He nodded. So he must have maybe not seen the angel per se, but seen the shift of vibration of the energy surrounding me. I think that must be what it was. He was actually a bit frightened. I said, "There's nothing to fear." I said, "All is well. All will be well from now on," I said to him, "at least for this evening." He nodded. So I haven't called upon that energy for a very long time because I haven't had any need to. And I've had other energies step forward and actually show themselves to me, like Sir James Douglas or Black Douglas, which was very confronting. Another famous ancient warrior from the late 1200s. So I guess I would like to know who the actual angel is, like which particular angel, what his name is specifically, but like with all mortal things, it's on a need-to-know basis, and if I was meant to know, that energy would have gifted me their name. And it's kind of a cosmic law that entities are supposed to gift you a name, but I'm not going to sit around bullying an angel into giving me his name, since he outranks most spirits of most realms of dimensions. So me as a mere hobbit woman, a mere mortal, won't be questioning the angels. If they come to my assistance, I'm grateful and humbled, but I certainly won't be putting them through the 3rd degree. Just bear with me, I'm going to get some paper to blow my nose. I'll be back. One moment. Hang on a minute, Charlie. Mama's got a lot going on here. Back, I might get some more paper. We've got a lot going on, Charlie. Mama's little schnozzy. Mama's little upturned schnozzy. Oh, look, she's pooed all over my seat. Look at this. This is the joys of having a rainbow lorikeet, people of Earth. Poopykins. Have you had a good time while I was gone? Did you create poopykin art on Mama's chair? You've been a busy bottom, haven't you? Busy bottom. Busy bum. Bada bum, bada bim, bada bing, bang, boom. Bada bum, bada bum. Bum, bum, bum. Dish. Right, here we go. Sorry about that. I just can't stand sitting there having to snot my own snot, which is kind of gross and uncivilized. But, you know, CPAP machine and early winter colds midwinter, almost midwinter actually. But anyway, nasty little colds and CPAP machines have meant that I'm a little bit compromised right now. Just a little bit. It's probably why my videos get madder and madder and madder, because when I lack in oxygen, I get a little bit, hypomanic and hyperbolic and a bit bonkers. But all in all, the stories still get told, and I adhere to the truth as always. What's that? What is that? We don't want to know what that is. And, love me, love my schnoz. You don't have to love me. I don't want any internet stalkers getting all frottery. You can calm down. If you don't calm down, I'll send you my used tissue. Gross. That should do it. Some weird fetishist just went, yes, please stay. But anyway, you know what I'm saying, don't you? Oh dear goddess. It's all a bit sad, isn't it? Anyway, here I go. I have what looks like his waddle. Waddle being this thing hanging here. It's my father's waddle too, from the other side of the line, the Phillips line. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. Nah, I'll end up with great big, when I do that, you get great big muscles there. No, that'll look ugly too. Waddle is as waddle does. People of Earth, I'll just make the most of what's left of my looks while they're still maintained. With my hair done, all glamorous. Waddle, but nice hair. I have what looks like his waddle, possibly his cheekbones too, I do indeed. He's got beady eyes. He has very beady eyes. No one in our family has beady eyes like his. In fact, I see a slight astigmatism. That's where my sister, my half-sister, would have got the astigmatism from. It's from him. Yes, indeed. Oh, well, there you go. Fucking genetics. It comes out to you in the end, including the flaws. Is it an astigmatism, or is he just... No, one eye's definitely turned in a bit there. Fucking people with astigmatisms. I've known several, including my own sister, half-sister, and not one of them were trustworthy. Seriously, I'm not making fun of people with astigmatisms, and I'm sure some of you are trustworthy, but the ones that came into my life were utterly monstrous. I can name them still, but I won't, because I named them the other day, and, I'm always at risk of freaking defamation threats, because cowards can't handle their own truth, can they? Anyway, he's got beady eyes and an astigmatism, I have decided. A very, very powerful witch. My mother's half-brother, which was his biological son, was terrified of his own father, as he once stopped a Nazi cavalcade with his mind. I wish I had a fraction of his powers. The story goes that when my uncle was about 7 years old and his older sister was about 12 or 13, he said, "Come over here, children," called them over to the window. And they looked down and they saw this Nazi cavalcade of all the important Rolls-Royce type, I think were they Rolls-Royce? Or, no, that's an English car. It would have been Mercedes, surely. But anyway, the big old-fashioned cars that you had to pop the hood still and crank up to get started. They were quite old cars. Anyway, and they were driving down. So maybe it was pre-Nazi days, because if they were such old cars, it would have been around about the time of the First World War. Because my uncle was born in 1909, I know that for a fact. So maybe they were talking about the First World War. But anyway, this cavalcade of cars driven by, German politicians, probably from the Weimar Republic, if it was the First World War, was coming down the road. And all the people were lined up, waving flags and, adoring them as you do when you've got nothing better to do and you're indoctrinated by your government. And maybe they got thrown extra bread if they went out and pumped up the guys, as you do when you're poor and you're starving, don't have work. Stand around waving flags. We still do this to this day, don't we, in political rallies? Anyway, so he's coming down the front car, the first car. There was about 4 or 5 other vehicles behind him. And my grandfather, Anton Petula, called his children over. The story was told by his son to my mother, who said what he saw his father be able to do absolutely terrified him for the rest of his life. So anyway, Anton, my grandfather, called over the kids and said, "Watch this, children." So they're looking out the window. He says, see that car coming down with those very important people in uniforms driving the car?" And my little uncle said, yes, I can see it. And Greta said, yes, I can see it. He said, "I'm going to stop that car, that cavalcade, from moving on down the road. I'm going to stop it with my mind." So the children sort of giggled and thought it was some sort of game, right? Okay, Dad, okay, Papa. So anyway, as the front car of the cavalcade was just driving up, had reached up in front of their apartment window, my grandfather just looked down with real intent and said, "Stop." Not loudly, but just for the children's benefit. I'm sure they didn't even need him to say stop, quite frankly. And the front car randomly just shuddered and ceased being able to move. And the chauffeur's like trying to get the car started and it wouldn't start again. And my grandfather was quietly laughed. They were about 3 stories up, they weren't in any danger. But he was quietly laughing to himself. And so he says, "Watch this, kids." So that the chauffeur gets out of this big vehicle, walks around, lifts up the bonnet, looks in, couldn't see anything wrong with the car because there was absolutely nothing wrong with the vehicle, by the way. Starts cranking it up, wouldn't start, so he's scratching his head. Couldn't understand it. Of course, the front car's holding up all the other vehicles, so they come out. What's going on? Car's just stopped. No one could figure it out. This is going on for a few, 5-10 minutes. And then my grandfather looked to the children and said, "Are you ready now?" And they said, "Oh, yes, okay, Papa." He said, "Go." Looking down with intent at the front vehicle. And the chauffeur by this stage is back in the vehicle, sitting there trying, pumping whatever and trying to figure it out. And the minute he said go, the car shudders back into full vibrancy and life, and the chauffeur, still scratching his head a bit confused, starts driving along, continuing along the parade or whatever it was they were actually trying to do there. And my grandfather laughed and laughed and laughed, and he said to the children, "That'll show them. They'll never work that one out," he said. But my uncle, my biological half uncle, because they had different mothers, said to my mother, he said, "When I saw what he could do with the power of his own mind, without any tricks, without any contrivances, just with his mind, stop and go when he was ready, not when they were ready," he said, "I realised that he was capable of doing anything. And I was so frightened," he said, "for months after I wet the bed and had nightmares. I said I was actually frightened of my own father because I saw how powerful he actually was. So here I write, I wish I had a fraction of his powers. Would come in very handy. But those were not the abilities the gods gave me, but instead they sent me a very protective angel, which I think came in after the first or second strangulation, when they realised that too many motherfuckers kept trying to kill me, so I was gifted extra protection. So, which again, I don't question that. I don't call upon it unless things are pretty dire, but I don't question it either, because I know it to be real. Just as my grandfather had the ability to stop cars, I have extra protection gifted me. And maybe it came from my grandfather's, energy, I don't know, but I don't question these things. I just gratefully accept and get on with life. Trigger warning: elitism, religious and or spiritual abuse, treachery, false friends, lovers, family. The Dybbuk never rests. The Dybbuk is a kind of spirit. It's of a person who's passed on, who then possesses the body of a living person and lives through their body, like in full possession, lives out their life, but has actually removed the soul of that living person. It's completely taken them over and is now inhabiting that body, but is not the actual same soul or energy that was originally in it. Kind of like a spiritual version of the body snatchers. Very, very malevolent kind of thing to happen. Not nice. Something that was greatly feared by the rabbis in the Middle Ages, by the way. From my diaries, 4th of December 2001. I went to the meeting at Shul to ratify the Constitution. We elected board members, and Gordon nominated me to be an ordinary board member. But I feel upset because the room went quiet. And it seemed obvious that Uri was annoyed about it. Also, Colleen, John, and Geraldine looked peeved. So I found out very quickly who my real friends are. Anyway, Margot and Brenda both seconded it, so I'm now on the board. Which was kind of odd that they wanted me on the board when so many of them actually didn't approve and didn't actually like me much. But Gordon, I think, was wanting to mentor me and have me, be a fully fledged member of my Jewish community, which is kind of your duty when you're a Jew, is to participate, get on boards and be a ganzer macher and go to meetings and make decisions and, scratch and bite and claw your way up in the social echelons until everyone's practically filleting you, and then you can just go around stabbing everyone in the back, by the way. Which was not what I wanted when I went to go on the board. It wasn't even, as you saw, my idea. I was nominated, but nobody fucking asked me about that, by the gods. John, President. Colleen. Oh no, I need to go back a bit. So I'll have to remember to act professionally. I can be very professional indeed. Be very afraid. And dress nice and keep my big mouth shut. Now that I struggle with to this day. except in emergencies or matters of high importance, so that I do myself and Gordon, who nominated me, proud. John, President, Colleen, Vice President, John, another John, Secretary, don't even remember who that John was now, Geraldine, Treasurer, and Gordon, Brenda, and Margot and I are ordinary members. Isn't that interesting? He nominated me, but he stayed in the role of an ordinary member. Interesting political move there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just a board for a temple. It's not like it's high politics or anything. Trust me, it can get pretty ugly even in temple boards though. 6th of December 2001. I spoke to Rosie about the board meeting and how I felt. Rosie was my work colleague. And how I felt I was a ring-in and not really wanted there. She told me it's because I wasn't born Jewish. I said, no, Colleen is a convert too. It must be because I'm poor and uneducated in their opinion. She told me to dress smart, keep silent, that it might lead to a job eventually. She was obsessed with me getting a job all the time. And I put in brackets, I can't see how, but I'm satisfied anyway. I came across this last night, and to be frank, I'm extruding blood everywhere about the way I was played for a fool, maltreated, condescended to, and many times slandered in this community, and othered, falsely accused of being a Nazi, by the way. Isn't it ironic that I ended up in a neo-Nazis caravan through my boyfriend many years ago? It still doesn't make me a Nazi. Fucking idiots that they were. But anyway, telling me to show up with 2 Band-Aids and a cork comes to mind. I owed him money at the time, so it left a very bad taste in my mouth. It really did. I forgave him. However, I can clearly see they were all playing, to quote my psychiatrist's observations about the last vicious little meeting. This was written in 2020, by the way. Bored rich people's games, using me as a scapegoat as they had no one else with enough courage to show up and participate. Almost like the fucking Hunger Games in a way, when you think about it. It's just awful. I had no comprehension back then what was going on. No, I did not. I could not imagine in my wildest nightmares the enormity of the awfulness that was constantly going on, both behind my back and to my face. I was surprised at their reaction when I was nominated. To my face, they had acted so friendly and charitable even, making me beautiful amulets, gifting me food parcels at Purim, which is a special gift handed out at Purim of food given to the poor. And they sort of gave me this big lovely hamper, but it was like, you know how you get that condescending sort of snippety like purse kind of, oh look, you're so poor, we've got to give you, what's it called? Hatzloach or something? Something like that. Anyway, in true Tanya form, the Tanya, I accepted the gift with great grace and humility, and thanked them politely, quietly observed the envious looks of other people in the congregation who were equally poor, and took my gift and went home and thought, bejesus, Jesus. But, you know, always, always courage under fire and grace and humility and great dignity. Never ever letting the bastards grind you down, which was one thing that Gordon and Dr. Harry Smith both taught me in Latin, to never let them grind you down. Just say, thank you very much. Go on your merry way. No doubt sneering behind my back at my gratitude for the false, treacherous love they threw at me, which I grabbed onto like a fucking lifeline, as I had nothing and no one else to trust with my mother and Buck's pernicious abuses. Also struggling alone with 2 children in serious distress, even having at that point in time recently moved house and gone into hiding to escape from my abusive mother and her then boyfriend. Oh, and those meetings were frequently a misogynistic phalange fest, with all 3 male leaders fighting constantly, domestics between one couple, and me rolling my eyes in the corner pretending I was dead, as the abuse dynamic just reminded me of my own cesspit, dysfunctional family. It was laughable but tragic. I maintained my professionalism though. Yes, I did. Courage under fire, as always. Then that shawl folded like a pack of cards. Interesting. I loved that shawl too. It was a lovely vibe for a change, apart from the leadership squabbles. I should have banged all their heads together, but seeing this, they hated me anyway. Sick. All of it. They ridiculed me about my hair in 2003, so I got dreads. Dreadlocks, people. Real dreadlocks. Best time of my life too. It saw an old lover slither back and saw me slide him out just as quickly out of my existence, because the Tanya was done. I am done with liars, cheats, con artists, psychopathic men, and other members of that triad. 2003 saw me being given this home to live in. In 2005 saw me get my pension. So walking away from arseholes, which was incredibly hard for me, as I had loved and trusted them so much, wrought other blessings in my life. I will keep walking away with my head high. I was target practice for them the entire time I have lived in Australia, 32 years of it. The not so lucky country spelt CUNTRY for me. And it's now, as of the 1st of August, will be 36 years that I have lived in Brisbane. But I lived in Melbourne for 3.5 years as a child, so altogether 39.5 years. I've lived in Australia and I'm 59. So most of my adult life I've lived in this country. Well, that's joyful, not watching me blow my nose, but sorry, it had to happen. Where can I go to be safe? Not New Zealand either, which actively endorsed and protected my abusers since my birth. I guess I should have done a better job of killing myself back on 22nd of August 2015. But death is not the answer either. Nay, I have to woman up and get on with my joyous, whimsical life and foment my own safety, even if it's only in my own heart and mind. Leave the rest of the dirty, treacherous motherfuckers in the dust. I love that word, motherfucker. It's so appropriate to describe people who are awful. People often cringe when they hear it, but I've had more than enough experiences of actual motherfuckers to know that some people earn that name. Wither away in their own feces where they belong. As for my big mouth, I will not be silenced ever, ever again. I did nothing wrong but help form a congregation that brought joy to many until the power play turned it rotten. And I was watching it just unravelling right in front of my eyes, and I should have been a really good board member and told them all to get over themselves and bloody well behave and not sabotage a very nice congregation we were having, by the way. But I was young and lacked confidence and thought that I was there as a ring-in and had imposter syndrome. So I didn't fight hard enough for that little congregation. And I sometimes wonder if I had fought harder, if we'd carried on with it, if it had succeeded and continued. But I guess with that level of constant backbiting and malevolence, it was doomed anyway, and sometimes you've just got to let things reach their ultimate conclusion. As has happened with every shul, that means congregation or temple, I have been a member of, and several Orthodox ones I have prayed in, but not been a member of due to my Reform convert status. Where I was abused and vilified so greatly, I walked away from my Orthodox conversion, and that particular shul destroyed my beautiful Orthodox Kabbalist rabbi's career. That's how low level they were. So I know more than most what evil resides in this city, Brisbane, Australia, as that rabbi was a truly kind, moral and decent man. So they destroyed him, which I am absolutely livid about to this day. It's probably long passed away and in the light now, but I am still his living memory till my time comes when my memory exists no more as well. But it was evil what they did to him. And when he slipped into dementia some years back, and I was informed that he was calling my name, trauma memories from that time in our lives in 1994, I was willing to fly to Melbourne to comfort him and his wife, but my so-called friend stymied that. That was vicious of her, by the way. I'm still not over that either. Accusing me of trying to get a free holiday. Evil that was. Shame on her. Yes, the same friend who had offered to buy me a house back in 2000 rather than let me go to Israel. I thought it was love, but I know now it was yet another bullshit, evil game of power and control, and I am grateful I did not take that particular bullshit carrot. Imagine a woman who's so malevolent that she stymied me flying to be loving and protective of my rabbi and friend in his time of need, as he had always been there for me in my time of troubles. Stopped it out of spite. It would have been yet another disaster. And that woman I had trusted with my life, all my deepest and innermost secrets and fears, used to tell her everything, everything, everything. So yes, that fucking treachery still burns my liver. I can feel the agony right now as I write. Yes, I just felt a pinch right there where the drain site used to be, where they took out my gallbladder. All these years later, that bitch still has the power to upset me. And I shouldn't be upset because long ago I moved past all that. But, you know, you dredge up the memories, you're going to be upset in the moment, aren't you? So next, who the fuck is next? I survived all of them. I don't even know how. I was actively suicidal in 2000, the year 2000. Yes, I was actively. It was very, very, very on the edge. Hell, even that vile dickhead Davidson knew I had nearly died of asthma and changed his tactics with me for a while until I got stronger again. Fucking tortured me. Let me get stronger and then started cutting and splicing at me again. The evil dog. Then he went back into actively humiliating me. So then I was advised to report him to the Health Rights Commission. The result? Someone probably bribed them as they suddenly dropped my case and lied to my face that there was not enough evidence. I had plenty of fucking evidence. Plenty. All the evidence I had supplied was not deemed enough. What the fuck? I was too mentally drained and soul-tired to fight any longer. I still loved him too. My abuser, my monster. So yes, I was sidelined and vilified and played for a fool again. But I know the truth. I just had no one to defend or protect me. Not then, not now. Sad but true. So here I sit in Housing Commission with an aching liver and fire in my guts and tears in my eyes. And I know one thing. I'm not afraid to continue in this life alone. Even in a sea of people all around me, there was only two I could trust with my life who demonstrated true friendship for me and loyalty. Now there is only one. C'est la vie. Whittle away and carve out my existence as I am down the rabbit hole, but not out. I am angry. This is written later on that day. I am angry. I was angry yesterday. and I will probably get angry tomorrow. I'm angry about people dying of that certain bioengineered illness because of a fuckfest in Melbourne. I am angry about waking up with a headache every morning for a week now. I am hellishly angry with one of my friends and my daughter Crystal not accepting my calls and stressing me out with excuses of work, COVID and depression. I lived through decades of trauma and depression, and in all that time I never played fucked up games about communication. If someone called me that I did not ever want to speak to again, like my own vicious mother, I told her to cease calling me. If someone called me that I still loved and wanted in my life, but I was too sick or depressed to even speak to anyone, I texted back or left them a message that I would be in touch in a few days. It's called courtesy, people, and respect, and not stressing people out of their minds, not knowing what's going on, by the way, in a pandemic. COVID isolationism is not an excuse for abuse. If we're all going to die of it, then we could try maintaining professionalism with the fucking mobile phone and being kind and respectful. Integrity is everything. I'm sick to my back teeth of being abused and rejected or abandoned because I put in an effort to fucking care. Which is ironic, as I went through 12 months of healing after my last surgery. Pardon me. In the first few weeks in serious crisis, and only Lynn and Jared visited me in the first week, then I had to manage on my own. I managed. I got up and danced with a still painful wound as I chose life. But in the past 6 months, I have watched my close family slide away like a Darwin-esque molten clock on Tanya's table. Destabilizing, unfair, cruel. So yes, I know the suffering, but I love you and deserve a modicum of respect. Going through my diaries, hell, even that pervert Davidson always responded to my calls. He too chose other women, which nearly killed me after he actively tried to kill me, but he maintained contact. Even after his death, he hammered on my door. It's kind of ironic, don't you think? Since in life he didn't choose me, but he maintained contact. So now I have an exhausted mindfuck about who really ever loved me. Now I can see all the spite and envy that remains like congealed eels. I repeat, depression is no excuse for rudeness or bad behaviour. I have spoken, having been a sufferer of major depression throughout most of my life. It really only sort of dissipated back in 2016, ironically, after Davidson haunted me. I'd already weaned off all my psych meds and I was doing much, much better. And I've only gone ahead and leaps and bounds since that time. I mean, I still have periods, where I start to spiral back into depression again, but I'm able usually to pull myself back out of it now. But it's no excuse for treating your family and friends dishonourably and badly. It's an illness, not, not to be weaponised for just dishonour and disrespect. If there is no more love for me, let's face it, I'm so used to that arrant bullshit too, I will sell my remaining chattels and disappear somewhere. I only remain here because I have no one else, but I won't be treated like a fool or held hostage by abuse. Fuck that shit. And I ended up not running away and trying to start a new life in another city or another town somewhere, because it's too destabilising for me, and I can exist here on my own. I've proved that now, 4 years later. I've proved that I can hold my own in my little house here, even though at times it's lonely. I have my wild weekends of dancing when I'm surrounded by sometimes crowds of, people. It can feel a bit oppressive at times. But I always have my wild friends, in the bands playing their music and protecting me and encouraging and motivating me to dance my wild dance. And together we build a beautiful energy, and we're joyous and we're happy. And Charlie, my goodness, that's a lot, Charlie. That's a lot for the pumpkins. You need to go to bed soon, Charlie. Yes, you do, little baby bird. Yes, you do, little baby bird. It's darking time now. Oh, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. No? Right, stay on the back of the chair and shut, I don't care. But anyway, we'll carry on. Where are we up to now? 9th of July 2019. Today I slept until midday. I had a good day. No dizziness or lightheadedness. I still feel a bit weaker physically, but I managed a short walk with Beauregard and later managed to clean all the fish pond filters. It took a while, but I managed it. Now back indoors, tired, but satisfied with myself. Louise wrote, "Sounds like you're getting stronger." And I wrote, "Hello, Charlie. Hello. Want to come to Mama?" Yeah, that's it. You come see Mama. You're my sweet little baby. You didn't see me all day because I had to go and get my hair done. And when I go and get my hair done, I'm gone for quite a long time, aren't I, Charlie? I was gone a long time this morning. And then this afternoon, Mama came home about 3:30 to be with her Charlie. And now it's dark. Oh. I replied, "Yes, thank goodness. Day 14. Been a long, slow healing." And my friend Laura wrote, "There's nothing like a good, long sleep to help you recuperate." Here I write, "My pathology results, blood test taken on Monday, Arvo, the day before the surgery, shows atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat, and acute coronary syndrome." So I freaked out, went, "What the fuck?" I don't know what that was. That was erroneous. All this time I've been feeling weaker and even more fatigued than ever, so I thought it was the gallbladder, which did have 2 large stones in it. It never occurred to me that my heart was struggling too. I thought my heart pounding so hard was just the usual adrenaline rush from seeing my unrequited dickhead beloved, which I used to call him the beloved one tongue-in-cheek, because he was not my beloved, he was a fucking enemy, but it was my sarcastic ways. Or anxiety or overexertion from dancing. Well, it explains why I've been even more spiritual than usual, and also one unusual incident where I left my body briefly, then was pushed back into it. like seeing a point above my bed and disappearing into it, then being just as suddenly pushed back into my body, which quite frankly was a bit frightening when that happened. I got a fright and ran into the kitchen, asking myself if I was dead, then laughed at myself. That was last year. I thought it was some weird panic attack or a mini stroke and shrugged it off and went back to bed. Sometimes denial is a good thing. I will have to go see my doctor to find out if it warrants any further treatment. So yeah, Mama T needs to make the best of what is left of her life. It seems I'm running out of life force. My friend Kellyanne wrote, I thought that when I had the heart failure thing after my heart surgery. But no, it seems life just likes torturing me, laughing out loud. You might have to work with it longer than you first thought you might. Atrial fibrillation is treatable and quite common. Coronary syndrome bit I'd have to look up again, but it's surprising what you can live with. Don't give up hope yet, but if treatment is offered, take it, because it'll make remaining time higher quality, can do more. And then I replied, seems I've been existing with this for quite a while. I wondered why my legs were weak after short bursts of dancing or long walks. I thought it was nerve pain or arthritis. The shortness of breath and sweating I thought was asthma and menopause. Never realised it was my heart. Turned out there was nothing wrong with my heart, by the way. I just misread the form, or maybe she gaslighted me because she was a bit incompetent, that GP. But anyway, we'll never know now, will we? I'm still struggling on, but it's not my heart, it's sleep apnea. Anyway, I have been getting weaker and weaker over the past few years. With all the tooth troubles, I thought it was from pain from that. All that infection probably fucked up my already perpetually broken heart too. I don't even know how I am still alive. Crazy. Not sure I want to keep living much longer. I get like that. I get like that. It's been a long, hard slog pushing my body through ridiculous scenarios, feeling so unwell and being treated like a crazy person all my life when all I wanted was love. Fuck it. It's all bullshit, really. And here's some love that I always wanted coming in another form, in the most sublime and perfect and beautiful way, by the way. My little Beauregard. Let me just move that. Oh no, I won't move that. We're still recording? Yes. Don't know why there's an extra button there. That's just weird. Anyway. 9th of July 2018. 3:15 a.m. Not sleeping, not cool. Impending tooth extraction tomorrow. I dread the real terror of another dry socket and another 4 months of agony. But I pray it will be okay. Even though I know how my entire nervous system fights any violation to this body. Please pray for me, all healers, if you have the deep connection. I cannot endure another long sojourn in the valley of the shadow of death. It's just too much. Yet I know I will get through it again. I am strong. I am resilient. I am indomitable. I am healed. I am sublime. I am fecklessly fickle and ruthlessly manipulated, but never stupid or insane, but alas, a toothless crone in the making. Will you still love me when I have lost all my teeth? When I am 64 and 6 foot under, when my girth outweighs my mirth, when my heart beats for no one, when my feet no longer walk this earth, when stardust implodes in my eyes. No, no worries, mate. I got this. 9:31 a.m. awake after 5 hours sleep. I set the alarm for 10 a.m. as the dentist is at 11:40 a.m. Here I go, sleep deprived but enervated. Crystal and Jared coming over in the Arvo for our usual Monday family cohesion. I apologise in advance, my darlings. I'm going to be a train wreck. Hilarious. Feeling much loved and grateful in spite of my Soros means problems or troubles or struggles. Jenny visited me last night and we chatted until 1 a.m. I've had lots of lovely chats the past few days. Greatly loved by my beautiful, brave, awesome friends. Don't pull the feathers, Charlie. Don't pull the feathers, Charlie. No. She's going to pull the feather, isn't she? Well, it's her body autonomy, I guess. She gets to do whatever the fuck she wants, whatever. I have no control over my bird, people of Earth. But I do try. Oh, she's such a sweet little baby. Let's have a cuddle, 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 cuddles. Glorious morning, sitting outside surrounded by sunshine, warming my back and my beloveds, the hens, Charlie Bird and Beauregard. Socks marched home from wherever it is he sleeps at night, demanded tribute, cat biscuits. Beauregard woke me early by staring into my face with such sublime affection. Sweet little dog. It would be creepy if he weren't a dog. He was very loving last night, made a trophy for his favourite auntie by scavenging a ball of wool out of my knitting stash. He never fails to surprise his auntie Jenny. Mama T was a tad furious as I put the wool out of his reach, but he climbed on the couch and dragged one out while we were talking in the kitchen. Clever dog, a genius and a comedian. Thank the dog gods he lacks opposable thumbs. He's currently looking at me as though butter could melt in his mouth. Handsome guy, my precious. He really was. Curious and curiouser, magic happens. Life is like a giant spirograph, swirling and twirling and whirling dervishes, never quite losing control, even as it swerves off the page. Bliss and love and truth and beauty, weapons of distraction, but just as powerful as any death ray. Yes, it is. The Tanya knows, psychedelic dreamer sighs. What folly, what sublime whimsy. I am whom I am becoming, grateful for my momentary flights of fantasy and paranoia. What is the common denominator or the gentle red thread that brings us all together? This beautiful binding of hearts and minds, this treasure trove of lust. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. Smiley face. Awakened aware in the dream. Why am I chosen? What is the agenda? She who belongs to no man but God or goddess. Go within and see. She who belongs to no one is always surprised and delighted by those who proclaim to claim her. Hilarious. My true loves await me. Oh wait, I think I stubbed my toe on one earlier. Smiley face. My friend Terena Edwards wrote, "You are the love you've been waiting for. Who could ever be better than you? Only you know your true self. What man could ever come close? Then once you are your true love, you'll open up like the veritable flower and find the one worthy of sharing your love." Didn't I say that in yesterday's video, that I'm flowering in all my meridians? Took a long time, but it's here, babies. It's here. Me, I think this is what is evolving, my blossoming after a long grieving for an unrequited love. A coming home to my own self, who was just pumping all her energy into the void of the avoidant, which was harrowing and sad, but was the perfect black mirror, because somehow it forced me to look within and interact with my own muse, with amusement and bemusement. So the greatest suffering became a gift, when you have nothing left to lose and you have died 1,000 times on the sacrificial altar of abandonment, rejection, betrayal, humiliation. When the darkest hour is upon you and your body even punishes you. When every breath is a triumph and your hopes and dreams are glistening like dew but melt by the midday heat. When the nights are too cold and lonely, but you know you were not meant for this life. You discover you can emerge with cosmic sword ablazing and cut through your own bullshit and look with consternation at the artifices of this life and rebuild from ground zero 1,000,000 fucking times. Then you know love is the only law of the universe. So you burn, baby, burn and renew. Phoenix rising, new plumage. Shake it out, throw it off. My neshama needs no raiment, for it shines beyond time and space, even before the delusions and illusion of human love. I just need to endure this last stage of my life, endure and manifest joy. I'm finally getting excited to see what possibilities are impending, but I have to yet trust. Meanwhile, in the real world, my lovely Indian dentist, who is sweet but not overly fond of giving me anesthesia, i.e. has worked on me without injections, is about to pull my tooth out. Wow, that shall ground me into reality. Insert quasi-hysterical laughter here. I shall be good, I promise. I shall not enjoy the experience. Last month she was working on me and she saw me leave my body, disassociation, so gently said, "Come back." I was a tad surprised. I was floating in my Zen zone, Byron Bay, but back I came. All good. Been doing this shit for 53 years. All very good. Sigh. I've been doing it now for 59 years and 3 months, babies. You kind of have to giggle. I have a Sheryl Crow song stuck in my head for the past few days. All I want to do is have a little fun before I die, said the man next to me, out of nowhere. And he's plain ugly to me, and I doubt he's ever had a day of fun in his whole life. Nasty judgmental observation. Sometimes the ugliest and most ordinary can become the most exquisite and magical. Kiss the hag. Kiss the fucking hag. But I have had my fun, hard won. I am happy in my revelry. I stood up and was counted and faced down my enemies, and it was the making of me. Indeed it was, people of Earth. But for now I am tired and am sitting in the sun. Must dash, toothy business to deal with. And here we have the most beautiful happy face, the face of the bow. Such a beautiful bow he was and is wherever he is. Isn't that not true, Charlie? Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Here's another very beautiful face, surrounded by beautiful faces. Beings who love me completely and unconditionally, even though she just did a massive pumpkin shit right on the computer. Oh, that's nice, Charlie. I did feed you pumpkin though, so I deserved that. But isn't that a lovely photo of her? Just get a clean bit of paper, wipe up the mess, clean as we go. Walk and talk, walk and talk, walk and talk. I'm a multitasker. Who knew? Who knew? Where were we? Oh, this is a very nice photo too. Mama T with Beauregard at that very lovely hill in Mount Tambourine. Don't remember what the hill's called, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Oh, no, did you do another one on me? No, you just twittered. You just twittered or you tweeted or did you poopy kins? She says, no, Mama, I'm innocent. Okay. All right, Charlie. It's all good. Being smothered, I write here. Being smothered. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be smothered by that beautiful one again. You can actually see by the colour of my skin, I don't look very well there. Probably had a bad asthma, and then having him shoving his little face right over my mouth, as he liked to do from time to time, probably wasn't all that healthy given the state I look like. I'm not doing too well there, but it is what it is. It is what it is, people of Earth. Today is Tuesday evening, isn't it? Is it Tuesday today? I look so lovely. I should go out somewhere. Where can I go on a Tuesday evening? I guess I could go to the movies. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'll stay home. I'll stay home and warm in my little house and enjoy my day, my night, and take things easy. Home safe. Had to take a painkiller already. Oh, so that's why I looked awful and sick. It had the tooth taken out. Anesthetic already worn off. Fuck it. Cuddling on my couch with my beau. Just lying on the couch in upright position and resting is exhausted from lack of sleep and or pain and ordeal. Not allowed any hot drinks or food, so craving cups of tea and hot chips, of course. Rebel without a cause, i.e. dickhead. But I'm being good this time because I absolutely feared getting another dry socket. So there it is. There it is, people of Earth. Oh my God. Oh my goddess. No, you can't help me with that, Charlie. It's a job for Baba. Can't help me with that job, Charlie. Just trying to look up my nose as I blow my nose. Anyway, where were we? I updated my profile picture. This is what I put up regularly when I'm feeling ill or pissed off with life in general. It's a memory from my childhood when I was Miss Five. Oh, no one does the pout quite like Miss Five does. I can still do the pout, but it doesn't look quite as cute as when I was 5. Who can imagine anyone wanting to hurt that sweet little baby girl? It's horrifying to even think that they could ever want to hurt me the way they hurt me. Evil bastards. Well, I'd already accomplished the pout. Laura wrote, "What a sweet little girl. She deserves so much love." And I replied, yes, she did. Although I could be a hellion too. Very bright, but very, very damaged. Plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose, which is French for the more things change, the more they stay the same. Here I write in German. I was hearing this conversation. Was ist los mit Ihnen? Alles das nicht fest ist? Ach du lieber Gott, Blödsinn. Na ja. It was a family joke with my mother. What's wrong with you literally means what is loose with you. Answer, everything that is not tied down. I threw in Blödsinn, which means nonsense. Anyway, the tooth is out, 3 roots fused together. My mother took one thalidomide during her pregnancy, so not sure if that has made me so fucking special or if it's genetics. Laughing my ass off. Heading home to try to avoid the dry socket. P.S. My dentist is wonderful, so I gave her a hug and told her I hoped to not see her for another year. Oh, and she would not let me keep it. The tooth, I mean. But I still have the last tooth for my voodoo collection. I want to hang it on my charm necklace. Ha ha. Which reminds me I must get round to that, drill a hole in it and attach a jump ring and hang it off my witchy charm necklace. Because why the fuck not? Crazy macabre bitch, me. But mana is mana. Or better yet, I have the skills now where I could cast it in the Dutch clay and make a sterling silver version of the actual tooth. Or just leave it as it is because the actual tooth is... No, it's fake, that tooth. That was the one that was... No. Wrong tooth. Yeah, the one I still got was my root canal tooth, which was actually a fake tooth that they built, created, because was it a real tooth still attached to it? I can't remember. I have to go and have a look at it, won't I? Anyway, I still need to hang it off my charm necklace. I figure it'll creep some people out, but not my monkey, not my circus. My tooth, my necklace. Am I right? I have an entire support team. Music, art, literature, dancing, chocolate, movies, beautiful soulful friends, my pets, my daughter, and an actual psychiatrist. Very, very grateful, lucky woman here. 9th of July 2017. I just finished watching The Handmaid's Tale. Just wow, inspiring, thought-provoking and disturbing all at the same time. Absolutely loved that show, by the way. It's very confronting and thought-provoking, but wonderfully, wonderfully made show. 9th of July 2016. 1 month free of all psych meds. It took 1 month to wean off them. I was supposed to do it in 2. So it was a scary detox. But today I feel for the first time like I might be able to thrive without them. Baby steps. I have a script for Valium for epic panic attacks, which reminds me I must get a new script for it. I've got 30 tablets left, but they expired in 2018. I probably should get a fresh script, but I try not to use them. I only had 2 a few weeks back when I had a breakdown over the thought of having to have CPAP again. It's how much I really did not want to have to deal with this, and here I am with a bloody cold, and then I have to sleep with a mask on at night. It's arduous. Anyway, the things we do for love, the things we do for love. Trying to stay alive and keep my psychiatrist happy because he wants me alive, he says. I don't see much point in it, quite frankly, most of the time, but he wants me alive. And she's copping a beauty again. There's a few other people that still enjoy my company and my dance and want me alive too, and so we'll just have to... Oh, gross, Charlie. We'll just have to keep choosing life, won't we, Charlie? What do you reckon about that? Live even harder, Mama T. Live even harder. Dance even more. Kick up your legs. Kick up the dust off your feet. Kick down all parameters. Be a good psychedelic dreamer. Don't push that one. Don't scare the only man who loves you away. I'm trying not to. Anyway, you have to kind of laugh. But I'm kicking down all walls and blocks, all doubts and fears, so I can invite the one into my life, the one who's destined to be my life partner. Should I live another 20 years, I don't want to be alone for the next 20 years. If you're wondering why I keep manifesting like a bitch, that's why. Because I've made my mind up. If I'm going to be made to stay on planet Earth for another 20 or, God forbid, even 30 years, I'm not doing this life alone. I just don't want to. I've done it alone for 29 and a half years. I have done it, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't all that fun. It's been a struggle. I don't want to be constantly alone. I've been abandoned by both my daughters now. hardly see my friends anymore. One of them did ring me this morning. I haven't heard from her for days. You know, she's busy, and that's okay. But, you know, they always choose to ring me when I'm actually got things on board too, and it's like just weird how that panned out. I was off having a coffee, getting prepared to go to my hairdresser. But anyway, I hardly see my two close friends, which is hard for me because they're my lifeline friends, I guess. But I try not to be a burden to them, so I just, when they go off in their own little worlds, I just let them go. It's like, ultimately, one day we will all be separated by time and space, by our own individual deaths, and I have to learn to manage life alone, completely, utterly alone. But I just don't wanna. I don't wanna. So every now and then I throw epic Tanya tantrums and I pout. And I do my tribal stomp and my shamanic dance, and I call upon the gods to show me true hearts and minds and who is my true love and man who wants to be my partner. And it's ridiculous because none of those men are available. But then again, it might be someone that I haven't noticed or seen or paid any attention to while I was distracted, loving all my other friends. Someone might walk in one day and just bing, bam, boom, the one. Seems a bit fantastic and a bit of a fantasy and a bit ridiculous and absurdist, but, you know, it's been known to happen that people find their life partners even in older age. It's weird and a bit bizarre, but it's been known to happen, you know. But I've got to get better, or at least get some kind of equilibrium where I'm not up peeing all night, because no one can tolerate that. Or I'll get a man that is quite happy to have separate bedrooms. I think that would be the best resolution. Because I don't want to be lying there snorting on a fucking mask all night with a man beside me. It's kind of gross. People do it because you love each other, but I don't want to do. I'm so used to sleeping on my own also for 29 and a half years that I don't know if I could tolerate having someone lying in bed beside me night after night after night after night. Separate bedrooms it will be. It doesn't mean that my life partner and I won't be having wonderful sex life. We'll just sleep. Pardon me. We'll just sleep separately. I think that's the best solution. But anyway, you know, that person hasn't entered into my, you know, life yet. I don't know who or if I'll ever meet that person. So calm your farm, Tanya. Calm your farm. If you want things too much, sometimes you drive away all potentiates, because no one wants someone that's desperate or needy or overly eager. It just gives off a vibe that is actually repelling. It does. I have to learn the art of not giving a fuck. I've been very good at not giving out any fucks, by the way, for many, many years. But also to not give a fuck, because the right man won't play games, and he'll communicate, and he'll move heaven and earth to be with me, because he will decide of his own free will without any nudging or pressure or wishing or praying or stirring up by me, that he adores me and values and cherishes me and wants to be with me. And it could happen, and time will tell who that person might be. I don't know. We don't know, do we, Charlie? What do we know? We've got each other, Charlie. That's all that matters for now. I've got you, babe. Look, oh, look at her. I've got you, baby. got you, baby girl. Baby, 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 birdie. Want to go to bed? You need to go to bed. How much more ramblings have we got to go? Oh, not that much more because they're mainly photos. All right, here we go. Let's focus and get this little jobby done. Readings of 9th of July 2024, babies. I have a script for Valium for epic panic attacks, so that is my security blanket if need be. Just for today, I'm happy. Not hypomanic happy, like I was on Monday. Poor Jared had to put up with my high, then falling asleep with utter exhaustion. Oh dear. Being an end-stage complex PTSD patient is not for sissies. 8 years ago I wrote that, babies. Well, I'm better now. I'm not that bad now, thank God. Sometimes I am. Like when I had my breakdown a few weeks ago, that was intense. But it's all right. I went dancing and I said to my friend's alter ego, I said, I'm in the middle of a breakdown, so don't mind me. And they just looked at me in astonishment. You're having a breakdown, Tanya? And I went, yes, but I've got it under control and it'll be okay. And I'll just have my usual wild dance. And I had a fantastic time. They were just looking at me like this, like, Mama T can do anything, even in breakdown mode. Remember that. So I'm really, really blessed and grateful for my strong, stoic friends who are there with me when I'm not my usual self. It must be quite scary and confronting at times. I'm grateful for the indomitable will and love of my friends and spirit, capital S spirit, who never give up on me. It's true. I plan to go dancing tonight again. I had a lovely time last night. I feel supported and loved. This was reinforced by one of my women acquaintances who told me she never forgets how I protected her from a would-be rapist at Irish Murphy's when she was really drunk one night. I told her, well, it's just how I roll. I would like to think people might have protected me when I was vulnerable too, but that was not the case. But I'm not the sort of woman to stand by idly and allow another woman, man, child, animal to be abused right in front of my face without taking action to intervene. People often think I am crazy for it. My own mother used to say to me, why you? Why do you have to put your own head on the chopping block? Why do you have to go where angels fear to tread? She said it in a sneering, denigrating way. I said, because if I don't stand up and be counted and fight for myself and others, then who the hell will? Certainly not my own mother, father, etc., who literally and figuratively never once protected me, unless they were shamed into doing so. Like when I was placed in the health camp at 7, or a failure to thrive infant with severe reflux that required hospitalisation, or the other stuff that I have had to overcome. Maybe I do have a martyr/warrior complex. Maybe I am crazy. But what I discovered last night and must try to hold on to in dark times when I doubt my self-worth or right to a nice life is how much I am loved and valued by the few rare souls who know what I did for them and what I do for others even if they or I don't even realize it at the time. A big part of the spiritual life is being authentic, courageous, and truthful, i.e., having integrity, even if the debilitating cost might be your own health and safety. It's very often a double-edged sword, but I can take my wounds, my broken dreams, my grief, and I can swaddle them like the dead baby of unfulfilled potential and put them to bed so I can reap the Menschlichkeit, personal satisfaction and unconditional love that the universe bestows upon me as my reward. Being strong, kind, loving has its rewards. I just did not always get to see it until it was too late. But I'm starting to see that my life has meaning and order after all, even though it runs backwards, upside down, topsy-turvy, Heyoka, trickster, fool style. Sometimes you have to run and jump into the abyss to rise and fall and be cleansed by the turbulent maelstrom of life. I pray for a safe landing. Yes, I do, still to this day. For myself, my beautiful magical friends, my true heroes and heroines, for the entire planet. We all deserve to be safe, happy, comforted, and loved. Let the joyous healing be completed in our world and all the worlds. As above, so below. 9th of July 2015. I'm picking up really fucking intense vibes from someone, capital S. No, it's a mortal person. It feels like it's two people and it feels like they're both male. Like there's two men discussing me, or I don't know. Why would that be? But I can feel it. I can actually feel it from behind my back, as though they're standing just behind my right shoulder, and it's coming in waves, and I've been ignoring it as I'm reading to you. It's intense. Who would that be? What's the time? 6:46 p.m. on the 9th of July. I'll keep a note of that because I might find out who these two men are that are discussing me with such intensity that I can sense it. It's odd. Might be spirits, might not be human men, but it's definitely two males. Wow. Just wow. Anyway, sometimes you find out, sometimes you don't. But if the gods want me to know what's going on in the background, what people were discussing about me, or what arrangements are being made, if they want me to know, I'll find out. I always do get to the end of the story, if I'm meant to find it out, that is. So just ding, let it go. But yeah, that was intense, man. It was like really intense. And it's not a negative thing. It's people who, I'm picking up on their love energy, and I don't know what that is. It's not a sexual thing. It's just some discussion involving me in some way. I wonder what that's about. It's bizarre. That's what I'm picking up on. 9th of July 2015. Pardon me. I had soup at like 4 o'clock when I came home, and it's bloody repeating on me now, and that was hours ago. Jesus. 8:33 a.m. Grrr. I don't do mornings, so no, I don't. Not a morning person. I can be up all night dancing till 4 o'clock in the morning if there's music still playing. But don't ever ask me to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start my day. Oh my goddess, that's the soup I gave you, Charlie. It literally went straight through you. Oh, wow. Is that even normal for her to shit that out 2.5 hours later? Is it normal, Charlie? She says, I don't know, Mama T. Anyway, here I write, I don't do mornings. I arrived at QE2 endoscopy unit at 8:10 a.m. Dr. Tan saw me straight away. He was a very nice doctor, actually. A very young Vietnamese man who yelled my name out so officiously that I saluted him and said Jawohl in German, because the way he screamed my name out reminded me of the Nazis. But he was actually a nice man. He was probably just stressed, as they get stressed because it's a stressful job being a proctologist, checking out people's arseholes all day long. Not just their arseholes, but their complete innards, people of Earth. I thought he was a nurse. Oh dear goddess, because usually the nurse gets you to come in and they check your BP and they kind of, get you ready, and I didn't expect to have the actual specialist calling me out straight away. He didn't smile at my twisted joke, but regardless, with perfect efficiency, booked me in for a colonoscopy due sometime in the next 3 months. Great. Now I can drive home and go back to bed. First I will need a cup of tea. Literally dressed, brushed my teeth and drove there. I feel like I've been hit by a Mack truck. Beautiful morning though, if you were into that sort of thing. Smiley face. 5:24 p.m. I had a nap, now ravenous. Going to visit Lynn at 6 p.m. to pick up my laptop that Peter fixed. Thanks, Peter. Then on to Aldi. 9th of July 2014, 2:28 a.m. Exhausted but happy to be in bed, in love, being loved by my cat, naturally. Purring consequential. Big empty bed containing one woman and one cat, both desexed. If aliens were to beam us up, they would be confused by that, a demigoddess and her human richly declaiming their fecundity to the gods. Well, it's safer that way, for some. Penny says, shut the fuck up, Mama, and turn out the light and get off Facebook and interface with me, like, for real. Damn it, I hate when my cat is righteously demanding of my time. Lila Tovya'ol from Sacred Space, otherwise known as The Cat's House. I feed, they need, with a K-N-E-A-D. I feed, they need. The circle of life. Note to self and cosmic consciousness. Future male love and or life partner must love pussies. And hopefully, in the not too distant future, a Pomeranian as well. I want to give up on love. I really do. Alas, not loving means death for me. I've danced the zombie dance for too long. I can't go back or look back. Pillars of salt built from my tears, fears, and searing pain, seas of them, worn with nonchalance and grace around my neck, smiley face. Diamonds on the soles of my feet, dancing life back into my middle-aged body before I descend or ascend, whichever way you look at it. Obladi, oblada, oblivion. Stars in my eyes, angelic singing in my ears, eternal sunshine in my heart. Thank you, God, for breathing new life into me and refreshing my tired and battered heart and my shadow soul. This bitch is back with bliss and blessings and abundant love for all, and especially for one who might just embrace me, love me, admire me, respect me, hold my hand, and never let me go. Greedy? Unrealistic? Maybe. But if I manifest for magnificence, then I might just get the love I have yearned for the past 49 years. And this time, it might just be real. And unfortunately, it wasn't. And here I am, 59 years. Oh, I love this photo. This is my friend Jojo and I at the casino drinking cocktails, looking very mischievous indeed, feeling very mischievous and salubrious, drinking cocktails. I very rarely drink cocktails. I usually drink Jack Daniels and Coke. But anyway, we had some lovely times together, her and I. Lovely woman. Here's another photo of me not making quite so much of a silly face, and Jojo beside me. There you go. There you go, my darlings. There you bloody well go. Dear men, this is a meme I posted. Dear men, 2014. You might think she wants your car, your money and gifts, but the right woman wants your time, your smile, your honesty, your effort, and you choosing to put her as a priority. Indeed she does. Indeed she does. My friend Ephraim wrote, "Who or where do you find those right women?" And I replied, "You look with your heart." Snuggle, safe, pet. What? Snuggle, safe, pet, heat pads. Oh, okay. Wish list. If I had one of these, my sickly newborn chick might have survived, might not, as we had to free it from its membrane and it was weak. But next time, if ever, I will be prepared. And my friend Jared wrote, "I can finally say I'm home. Been a hard slog the past few days, but I'm finally out of the old house. A big thanks to Tanya for her help with cleaning, sorting, and a few trips by car. Without your help, this never would have happened in time. Thanks also to Crystal for her help today and for dinner." Crystal wrote back, "I put pizza in your car. I hope you found it, kiss." Jared wrote, "Harvey found it before I got in the car. A decent-sized hole was in the middle." Caught him trying another go at it when I got in the car from picking up milk at the servo. Poor thing was starving. Crystal wrote, "Oh shoot, no, lol, poor baby. Ah well, he will eat well tonight." And I wrote, "Good to be home with my animals and my warm bed and warm heater. Sacred space is the only place to be until I find a way to move to Byron and kickstart my life. As they say, moving on is not the same as giving up." And here I write, "Feeling undervalued and abused, I must learn from this," which has got nothing to do with Jared's moving house, by the way. It would have been some other reference because, you know, he did thank me and he did values. It's not, don't know what else was going on at that time. But anyway, my friend Sally wrote, "Hugs, Tanya, you are wonderful." It's very kind of her. I must have had some other shit going on, as I often do. In the old days anyway. Not so much anymore. Clean and clear, people of Earth. No more toxic people in my life to wear me down. 9th of July 2013. Slept till 12:30 p.m. Woke up from a nightmare and scared Miss Bella Rosa, poor thing. I went for a coffee with Gail and Christina, then came home to water the front garden. Everything looks lovely. A friend wrote, "Are you feeling better?" And I wrote, "Still quite sick, but had a better appetite today, so getting better slowly. Hugs." 9th of July 2011. I'm dealing with an aching loneliness by not dealing with it. Lol. I've kept busy uploading photos to Ancestry, and although looking at them all seems to trigger PTSD and depression, it's good to have them up there. I really don't know why I feel so low. It's ridiculous. I've had an awesome week. I still wish I had some money to go out with just to break up the monotony, the loneliness, and be out in the world. Oh well, maybe next weekend if I have money left over after paying off bills and food. 9th of July 2010. I had lunch with my two favourite men and looked around the shops. A lovely day. That would have been my friend Jared and my then soon-to-be no longer boyfriend, Courtney, because that's the only two favourite men I had in my life in 2010 in July. But yeah, I had to think about it for a minute there. Who's two favourite men? What two favourite men? I'm a one woman at a time. You know, I'm not into polyamory. So I had to think. It would have been my friend Jared and I. But again, it was unusual that he was coming out for lunch with me with Courtney. I wonder why that was. Must have been something to do with needing something for our cars, or was, they didn't hate each other, but they didn't usually hang out together. So, odd. It'll be something to do with the car, though. Probably had to help tow me. There was one time they had to tow me out of Pet City when my car battery randomly fucking up denied and I was kind of stuck. But that can't be it, because I would have mentioned that he'd come to help me tow the car. So I don't know. It's so long ago now, what does it matter? I don't even barely remember his fucking face, so slough the fuck off. Ding! Anyway, here we go. Thus concludes today's readings of Even Date. And there was some lovely little spiritual messages in there, so hope you enjoyed those and got something out of it anyway. And yes, today's readings of 9th of July has now come to its full conclusion. And Mama T is going to get into her nightie and put on the television for a little bit, maybe watch a bit of Vikings, and I think I'll go to bed early because I actually feel, out of breath now and still stuffed up in my schnoz and a bit wrung out. So what else is new? Every day in every way, I struggle on regardless. So, yes, have a beautiful evening, people of Earth. Here is 7:03 p.m. on the 9th of July, Brisbane, Australia. So wherever you are in your space-time continuum, have a gorgeous day. Be happy, be wild, be free, and remember, never ever let the bastards grind you down. Big agape love from Charlie and I. That was a big one, but I don't know where it went. But it went everywhere. It went everywhere, man, like the Leyland brothers. Oh, it's kind of smelly too. Thanks, Charlie. Thank you for that. Oh, bye for now, planet of Earth.